And so it begins. MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide #1, Part 1 for 2023. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by MacVoices Magazine, our free magazine on Flipboard and on the web. Want to cut through all the noise and find out what you can do with your Apple gear? MacVoices Magazine focuses on just that, aggregating the best how-to articles and information. Get it by searching for MacVoices in the Flipboard app or visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's that time of year again when we start to gather our friends together, help you with some of your shopping ideas, and just we get to have a good time seeing each other and enjoying recommending some gifts for you. So this is MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide #1. We do multiple of these, so if we don't happen to find something that strikes your fancy, don't worry, there will be more. The rules are pretty simple. We ask our panelists to make 4 gift picks. We do 4 rounds, 1 gift per round per person, and talk a little bit about why they are recommending it. And then, of course, the rest of us get to pick on them about it. We do our best not to repeat things between panels. So, we always let subsequent panels know what has already been picked. That means that each subsequent gift guide gets just a little bit tougher because the low-hanging fruit has already been picked. And that's why it's always kind of interesting to see who can fill out the surveys quick enough and get the first slots. And so we have 3 all-stars that did exactly that, because within just a few hours of me posting this, we have our first gift guide. Let's find out who's here and get to it. Taking my screen as it appears, I'm not sure how yours will look. Mr. David Ginsburg is here. David, happy holidays. Good to see you.
Happy holidays to you, Chuck. Thanks for having me. I always look forward to this every year. It seems like I've been doing this for a long time, and I love being on your gift guides every year. So let's have some fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. These are some of the most popular shows of the year, but they're also some of the most fun because we're not picking on anybody or passing judgment, or at least not seriously passing judgment. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Next up, looking like he just came in from shoveling snow, Mr. Jeff Gamet. Jeff, what's with the scarf?
It's as close as I could come to looking festive for the holidays. I just kind of panicked. That's all I've got, man.
All right. Well, there's no need to panic. We're all friends here. Speaking of friends, Mike T. Rose has joined us. Mike, thank you so much for making the time. It's great to see you.
I'm so glad I could be here, and thank you for bearing with my scheduling challenges. Chuck, of course, did say he sent out the survey and people jumped on it, but some of us jumped on it and then forgot that we might have volunteered ourselves for this particular slot. So I had to rush away from a business dinner that had interposed itself atop the gift guide. Very glad to be here, though.
It's probably not nearly as much fun as we'll have here, right?
I would imagine not. I don't know. They were on dessert and drinks when I left, so God knows what they've gotten up to by now.
Yeah.
No good. That's what they're up to.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
They're up to no good.
Maybe it's better that you're not there to witness it.
For legal reasons, you're probably correct.
Story of my life.
Oh, we know, Jeff. We know. So let's get to it. And if it's okay with you, gentlemen, I'm just going to keep the same order. I will pick up the tail end. So, David, that gives you the first pick of this year's holiday gift guide.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. I will give you my very first pick here. And I'm going to start off with a one that I've picked over this year, but I think is still worthy of a good mention. And this is an Anker battery, and I have it here in front of me. This is the Anker 24,000 milliamp. I'll put that on my camera here. That's the battery here, and it does 65 watts of charging. It's the power core, so it's the most up-to-date Anker. It's got the USB-C charging I've had all these batteries over the years, and you always have those micro USB plugs, but I can't stand the charging, those old ones. So now I got this new one. It's a pretty good heavy size, not too terribly bad, but it'll charge an iPhone, an iPad, it'll charge Apple Watch, it'll charge your MacBook, 65 watts, it'll do your MacBook Air for sure, and in a pinch you could do your MacBook Pro. Anker, as we all know, makes great batteries, very fast charging, which is nice. It's a 2-in-1, so you can do 65 watts on one jack, or it splits it between 45 and 20 on if you have two things charging at once. Again, 24,000 milliamps, which is enough power for about almost 5 charges in an iPhone. So good to have it with you. So there's tons of batteries out there, but I think Anker is a solid choice for a gift, and it's not too terribly expensive, right around $60.
Very nice.
Again,
Very
great
nice.
gift.
So you cross-country flights galore, and you won't have any trouble at all.
Yeah, well worth it.
Good. Yeah. Anchor always shows up on the gift guides at least once, usually
Yep.
multiple times. So
Mhm.
yeah. Jeff, this is your first pick of this year's gift guide. What do you got for us?
Well, you know me, so you probably have several ideas already of what at least sort of category I'm going to go into. But you're wrong. I'm bringing you a book, and it's an amazing book. Okay, so this is called The Mysteries, and it's by Bill Watterson and John Cash. Bill Watterson is a name that you probably recognize. He's the artist that did Calvin and Hobbes. And so he has written an adult fairy tale. And this book, let me just flip it open to a page. Doesn't matter which page. All the art's beautiful. And
Wow.
so it's the story of this fantasy kingdom where it's under some curse or something like that, and the king sends out all of his knights to find the fix for their plight, and none of them return until years later one comes back. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to do or say anything that would spoil the story for you. It's not a long book, but it's an adult fairy tale. And so it is an adult picture book. And as I say that, I realize how that sounds. It's not what I mean. It is a picture book with a story targeting the adult market. There's nothing naughty about this, people, okay? But it's a beautiful little hardback book, and it's $20, although Amazon is selling it for $16.57.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, you're right. That just came right out of left field.
I had a feeling you weren't expecting that. That's kind of what I was going for, but it's really cool. And it's one of those things where if you buy it for yourself as a gift, I'm telling you it's okay to do that. Buy yourself a gift.
Knowing your background in the graphic arts, anything you recommend along these lines is always going to go a long way, because you do have the ability to appreciate the artistic quality that someone like that gentleman would bring to an adult fairy tale, not XXX fairy tale, but an adult fairy tale.
It's just wonderful. It's a great story, and the book is just beautiful. Nicely
done. Nicely done. Mike Rose, what are you going to get us off the ground with?
Well, I was going, I couldn't quite decide, like, did I go maximum nerdy, baseline nerdy, or not particularly nerdy at all for the first one. And I think I'm going to go not particularly nerdy at all. And this is a product where I can say with confidence that I have actually purchased it at least 4 times. So this is the not particularly nerdy product. This is a bag. It is the Rothko Vintage Canvas Tech Bag, otherwise known as a Mac case. And it is currently $21.99. I've seen it as low as $15 or $16 in the past. But for $22, you get a bag, which is very simple. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It's not fancy. It is just a canvas bag with an internal small zipper pocket, perfect for a pair of AirPods, for example, or a pen. An ample main pocket, which can fit your iPad, your battery pack, your phone, any of your other basic carrying gear. A small outer pocket that can hold sunglasses or whatever else you need, and a zipper that covers the first two pockets, the main pocket with the inner additional closed zipper pocket, and a flap, canvas flap that goes over the top, shoulder strap that can also be crossbody. This is a very basic bag, but I can tell you the reason I bought this bag so many times is every time I bought it in the past, my children have stolen it from me. So I bought myself one that was in the light khaki. Kids stole it. I bought a black one. Kids stole it. I bought another black one for myself. My kids use them. My two daughters both use them as an everyday carry purse or handbag, and have them covered in pins and decorations. They do wear out after about 4+ years of everyday use, but they're $22. You can get yourself another one, and it's a really, really nice bag. It's well made. Rothko is a brand that's known commonly for tactical gear and duffel bags and military style equipment and so forth. This bag is not ostentatious. It's not weird. It's just the perfect size for your tablet or stub notebook and your other carrying stuff. And it is my regular bag that I carry when I'm not carrying my backpack. And I just ordered another one because one of my other picks that I will get to made its way through finally a hole that was worn in the inner zipper pocket and inside the lining of the bag, which made it very difficult for me to find. So it's time to replace it, but it will be replaced gleefully because, again, that $22 investment definitely lasts several years of daily carrying. So the Rothko Tech Bag is my recommendation.
Mike,
Very
I have a
nice.
question for you because I'm
Yes, sir.
already completely enamored with this bag. And I openly admit that I have a bag problem.
We all
Yes, I
do.
too.
We all do, yeah. So what size iPads will this hold?
My regular is an 11-inch Pro and it fits fine. I imagine it would also hold the 12 because mine fits with a little bit of slack. But I would, I'd have to double check that. I think it should hold the 12.9.
Okay.
I've managed
really
from time to
this.
time to like squeeze a laptop into it. You can put a MacBook Air or a 13-inch MacBook Pro in it. It won't zipper closed at the top, but
Okay.
in terms of the overall dimension, it fits.
Oh, so it zippers closed at the top along with the flap.
Yeah, it zippers closed at the top, and you put the flap over it because there's that little the mini pocket in front that is then covered by the flap, and there's a bit of Velcro that keeps the flap closed. Yeah, and it padded. I would say padded interior, which is what it says on the Amazon listing. That's a little bit. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. It's an interior. It's not particularly padded, but it's fine. It's fine for your iPad.
Okay, yeah, it like you say, it's not ostentatious. You'd see somebody carrying this and never really think that, oh, they've got an iPad or maybe a MacBook Air or something in it. So nice pick.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if you would consider this nerdy or not, but I'm going to go upscale a little bit. But in the last few weeks, I've just come to feel really, really strongly about the fact that just about everybody I know should have an Apple Watch. And not just because it's Apple, but because the Apple Watch offers so many benefits. It offers the productivity and app benefits. It offers the health tracking benefits. It offers the safety benefits if you fall. and can summon emergency services for you and notify someone. I did a user group thing the other night, and a gentleman was saying that he had had hip surgery recently. He fell over his chair tipped over, and he used his Apple Watch to call his son for help. And it's those kind of things that, just lead me to say, if you don't want the Series 9, fine, go out and get the Series 8, or if you can find it, get a Series 7, but get something that has some of those core safety functionality aspects to it. And, just watch them as new ones come out and see what applies to you. But the simple fact of the matter is that this is not just a watch, and it's not just an affectation. It is an honest to God safety device. And I know several doctors that I see or friends see that's one of the first questions they ask is, do you have an Apple Watch? Are you going to get an Apple Watch? You should get an Apple Watch. So if the Ultra is for you, great. If one of the lower models is great, just make sure you check out all the functionality that comes with the particular model you're selecting, and look at it as an investment in your health and your safety, and not just a holiday gift. If I sound preachy, I'm sorry, but I really, really do feel strongly about it.
I can't agree with you more, Chuck. I've had the Apple Watch since, just like you, probably since Series 0, and I just absolutely loved what Apple has done with the Apple Watch for over all these years. We're almost close to 9 years since the Apple Watch was introduced, and it's just an incredible device, and I couldn't go. I don't leave the house ever without having it on me. I definitely agree with you. And there's so many stories I've reported and you've reported of helping people when they're in need when it comes to falling and and all that. So yeah, definitely good pick.
Speaking of, I'm sure you guys saw the coverage of this. That Daniel Aaron Dilger from Apple Insider also had a story of his life being saved by his Apple Watch.
Yeah,
that he was in a motorbike accident recently and was unconscious and was bleeding, and his watch called 911 on his behalf and probably saved his life. So
that's an amazing story.
I love hearing those stories. I mean, not that they're unfortunate stories, but stories that just what you can't count any value of even though the watch might be a little expensive for some people. I mean, it's well worth it just for that reason alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
We've all laughed a little bit that we're living in a science fiction future, and at times it seems dystopian.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those. Yeah, but this is one of those things that this is the positive side of living in this future, that you have the ability to put something like this on your wrist that can do so much for you, especially if anything happens to you and you're not able to do it for yourself.
Right.
So,
agreed.
That puts an end to round one. So hopefully we ended it on a high note, or at least a practical note. So Dave, that means you get to take us into round two.
Okay. I know I've recommended this in the past, and I always like my props because I have to bring stuff. The Sonos Move. This is the Move. This is the original Move. I've had this probably about 4 years now. 4 years now. And absolutely amazing speaker. The sound is just awesome. So I've got 2 links here because Sonos, as we all well know, it makes some absolutely amazing speakers. And they still are selling the Move. The Move is the very first generation of the model. That's the one I have, and I'm perfectly happy with it, honestly. And so the price is a little more affordable, but they also came out with a Move 2 that just came out just earlier this year. There is some good subtle updates to what this has versus the original Move. The Move 2 moves up into the Bluetooth 5.0. Your connections, you've got a USB-C and a line in, which is the Move that does not have. The sound on the Move 2 is much clearer than the predecessor, but I'm telling you, the Move itself is just perfectly fine sounding. I put this Move into a room and it just amplifies everywhere. It gives me just amazing sound, and it is heavy, but it's great to just bring it with you somewhere and just crank it out. It supports the Amazon Echo built right into it. You can do You can do Google device and have a voice assistant there, and then it links to so many different music services, including Sonos' own music service. But you can do Apple Music, you can do Spotify, you can do all these other services linked right into the app that will link to your iPhone, and it absolutely works well. I think the sound is I just can't say enough about the sound. I think for something like this is great. The Move is down to $299, so that's a pretty decent price for a speaker of this level. But I mean, the Move 2 is going to be a little bit more. It's $449. But if you're in the market, either one of them is perfectly fine. You want the latest model, go with the Move 2. But I'm perfectly happy with the Move, the original Move. So you pick. I gave you two of the same speaker, but just new generations.
Yeah, Sonos is well known for its sound, Dave. So yeah, those are always good picks. And I've not availed myself of the Move or the Move 2, but I have more Sonos speakers around here than I'm willing to admit. So Jeff, are you going audio, or are you going to stay with something on the printed page?
No.
Okay. What are you going to do?
All right. So for this round, I'm going for people that that enjoy being able to like go under the hood, if you will, with electronics, and enjoy doing that kind of tinker thing, whether it's with software or hardware. So my pick is the Raspberry Pi 5. And so it's, for those of you that don't know, Raspberry Pi, it's a little computer board that you buy, and it's fully functional computer. And it's about the size of a deck of Uno cards. And everyone knows what size that is. That's like a universal measurement right there. And you take a little micro SD card, pop it into this thing, and you can put Linux on it, and Raspberry has its own GUI operating system, which is actually pretty nice. So you can use that as well. And then you can get all sorts of accessories from Raspberry, or from I keep saying Raspberry. That's not really the company name, is it?
Raspberry
Maybe
Pi.
it is. But anyhow, there's third-party companies out there that sell all kinds of accessories. I've taken an older Raspberry Pi, the 4, and actually I think it's the 4B, and I plugged an external hard drive to it and installed Plex on it, and I made my own Plex server. And so I've got this little Raspberry Pi sitting off in a corner that's loaded up with my music and movies, and I can access that from anywhere in the world as long as I have a internet connection, and it's kind of cool. So the Raspberry Pi is just cool on its own. So this starts at around $80. Here's the downside: if you get someone a Raspberry Pi 5 for any of the holiday events that involve gift giving between now and the end of the year, you are probably giving them a note, a card, or whatever that says, you're going to get this in January, because it's that's when it's expected to start shipping. So if you prefer, and you want to give someone a Raspberry Pi where they can actually have it in hand right away, then look at the Raspberry Pi 4, and I'd say just look at the Model B, because that's the newest model until the 5 actually ships. And it's a cool little box. I'm looking up the price on that one now, and yeah, that one starts at $45. So we're talking about really economical computers, and these aren't like toys, although you can use them as toys. They're full on computers, and people are using them to do all kinds of really interesting things. I've met a couple people that use a Raspberry Pi as their primary computer.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're very capable little machines. I've seen people put together server clusters that are running Raspberry Pis. People use these for Homebridge, so they can take HomeKit compatible devices and use them on their HomeKit network. And anyhow, so I've got a few Raspberry Pis sitting around. Some are in use, some aren't, but they're just great little tools for playing with and experimenting, and if you want, doing productive things with.
I've got
If
one
I-
it's been sitting in a bin for a while. Sorry, I've got one that's been sitting in a bin for a few years. So you're tempt me to pull it back out and tinker again with it, because it's a fun little thing here. And the Raspberry Pi 4B is only like $45. I mean, God,
Yeah.
to have something to play with. I mean, yeah, it'll start adding up if you want to start adding more of the accessories to it and getting an external drive. And I even bought one of those external LCD displays that sits on a stand that you can build a case around it. So there's so much stuff you can buy for these things. They're kind of fun.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah. And the great thing is you can't screw up that bad, because if you like completely trash the operating system in some way that you just can't recover from, just image your SD card again, start over, or get another SD card. And I actually have a couple spares that have different versions of operating systems on them, so that if I need to pop one out of one of my Pis so that I can do something else, I can leave the one card that was in there for the dedicated thing it was already doing, and then pop that back in later on. So you have a lot of versatility for a pretty economical price.
Jeff, what's the difference between the 4 and the 5? Is it just what you would expect, a little bit faster processor, or is there something very specific that would make you want to wait on the 5?
It's significantly faster, and hold on, let me look and see. Do they have a comparison chart? Because that would be kind of cool.
That's what I'm looking.
But the 5, I mean, it's like double the speed of the 4. Has
You got all the
PCI
latest
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Dual 4K ports.
Okay.
Anyhow, they're
Wait a minute. Dual 4K ports on a deck of cards computer
for an $80 Raspberry
Yeah.
Pi.
That's a riot.
yeah.
That's a riot.
Dual 4K P60 HDMI display output with HDR support.
Yep.
And it has a HEVC decoder built in.
The Pi 4 Model B, the 4 gig of memory version, is $54.99 from Micro Center, which is quite reasonable.
Yeah,
The
well, a
cases
lot
and
of times
everything
when you find them priced a little bit higher like that, as opposed to $45, it's because they're throwing in a power supply.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
these
probably,
run
yeah.
off of just like
micro USB for these, for the
Yeah.
Model 4.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
people take like iPad chargers and
Mhm.
plug a USB-A to micro C or USB-A to USB-C, whatever model they have, and run these off of a spare iPad charger.
Crazy. We are living in the future.
We are.
Yeah. I just need a time machine to slow time down so I can play with all the toys. That's the problem. Mike, what do you have to wrap up your part of round 2?
Well, for my part of round 2, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple and do something that would actually complement a Raspberry Pi very nicely, or in fact any other device that you have that you might need to charge. Now, we're all sort of living in the Lightning to USB-C transition right now. We probably all have devices that have a blend of different cables. And so that's why, and this is by the way, this is a Kelly G recommendation. So I'm probably taking some of her territory, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, maybe
that's why
she should
I
have
like
signed up faster.
should have signed up
For the
faster.
gift guide.
That's why I like the Rolling Square InCharge XL cable, which is I have an example of right here. So as long as it's not too blurry, I can show you. So this is the USB cable, but it's a little bit different. First of all, it comes with this convenient cap to keep the plugs together, and the plugs actually snap together magnetically. So they're always going to be aligned here. Now you can see this is a USB-A connector, typical USB-A, and we have Lightning on the other end. But what if I don't want Lightning? Well, now it's USB-C on that end. And what if I don't want USB-A on this side? Well, now it's USB-C on that end. So it is the transformer more than meets the eye of charging cables. It is worthy of note that this is not a USB 3 full speed data cable. It will transmit data at the 480 megabits, of USB 2. But it is perfectly suited for all sorts of charging scenarios. I've used it to charge my laptop. I've used it to charge my iPad, used it to charge my phone, my AirPods, pretty much everything except my watch. And it is, these come in a variety of lengths and sizes. There's a little pocket size one, keychain size one. There are the long 2-meter ones, but highly recommended. They're a little on the pricey side, not going to lie. You're not going to get one of these for less than $20 or $30, but they are extremely versatile. And especially if you're going through a situation where maybe one member of the family has upgraded to an iPhone 15 and it's USB-C charging all the way, but another family member is still on an older phone, or you've got AirPods that you want to charge, having this transformer cable is a big help. So that is the InCharge XL from Rolling Square. You can find it on Amazon, most of your vendors, or just go to rollingsquare.com.
I
Kelly
have one of
spent
those.
Kelly spent my money too.
Kelly spent your money too, the shorter version.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
When Kelly tried to spend my money, she's like, check this out. I held mine up and I went, I know.
Well, I will say that what was funny about this is she told me about it and told me on our show, on the after show. I said, oh, cool. And I went and looked it up. I said, why does the name of that company sound so familiar? And it turns out I was on the Kickstarter for their other product, the Aircard, which is an AirTag in the business card form factor. But I had forgotten the name of the company. So of course I had heard of them before. It's like, oh, it's the Aircard people. So now I have 2 of their products.
Yeah, I've got the one you mentioned, like the keychain one. I saw them at CES last year, and the one thing you didn't say about them is that they are not only super versatile, but they are incredibly well made. I mean, I'm not quite going to say indestructible, because I'm sure if you took a blowtorch to it, there's you could probably do some damage. But beyond that, you're going to have a hard time doing much damage to this. It is just so well made. So I think
they had a photograph or a video of somebody using one of the longer cables to like lash cargo to a van or something. They're just pretty indestructible.
Yeah. Great pick. I got very serious with the first round, so I'm going to try to get a little more into the holiday spirit with the second round and tell you that you should go, before you do any Christmas decorating, you should go and check out Twinkly app-controlled lights. I'll have a link in the show notes to 157 feet of Christmas lights with 600 LEDs. The great thing about these is that it's not just, you don't just program them to blink or whatever. You use your iPhone to take a picture of the lights lit. The iPhone identifies then the exact location of each light, and then you can paint the lights with anything you want. You can use some of the pre-programmed things that they have, or you can create your own designs with all kind of colors, and you do it right on the phone. And I will have links in the show notes, because this has to be one of my favorite demos that I ever saw at CES. because they were showing, they had a whole lot of Christmas trees set up, and I thought, yeah, right, okay, let's talk to these people. And I was blown away by what you could do with this. They are not inexpensive, to be fair, but I guarantee you that they will be the envy of the neighborhood because of what you can do with these, and you can change it at a moment's notice with a swipe of a finger. So, and you can find them, I know you can find them in Lowe's. I think they're probably in Home Depot, definitely on Amazon. But if you're out shopping for Christmas lights, look for Twinkly before you do anything else.
I remember I was with you.
I
I was
still-
at my very first CES in 2020, and we saw them for the first time. They were great.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get my head around the idea of you put up the lights basically at random. You take a picture of them with your phone identifies them, and then you have a digital twin of your physical lights on your phone that you can paint. Wow.
Yep, it is.
This is really cool. They're HomeKit compatible too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And since we saw them for the very first time, Dave, honestly, I forgot you were there for that show.
Yeah.
But since we saw them for the first time, they've expanded into all kind of different iterations of this, but they all have the same capability, and they just are. It takes a lot for me to say something is really amazing, but these are really amazing. So go and decorate your house.
That
and
is
then, yeah,
bananas.
yeah, it
Bananas.
is. It really is.
It is.
It really is. David, Jeff, and Mike are back next time to finish up MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide #1 and try to cost me money. Let's see if they succeed. I'm Chuck Joyner. I'll see you next time. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices each month. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.